Dave Ramsey's 7 Baby Steps. I wanted to improve my financial situation, and for some reason, Dave Ramsey's videos started popping up on my YouTube feed, and I decided to check it out. And today, I'm going to follow Dave Ramsey's 7 Baby Steps, see where I am, and try to improve my financial situation. Especially since I did have a period where I overspent on Pokemon cards. And I decided that, you know what, I need to improve my finances. So yeah, I'm going to go through the 7 steps and yeah, give some of my thoughts on the 7 steps. Let's do it. So in summary, the Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps to financial wealth are as follows. Step 1, emergency fund of $1,000. Step 2, pay off all your debts. That's excluding your mortgage. Step 3, build up 3 to 6 months of monthly expenses. Step 4, 15% of income into your retirement plan fund. Step 5, saving for your child's college fund. And step 6, pay off your mortgage. Step 7, build wealth. Steps 1 to 3, you do it with intensity. And then step 4 to 6, you do it with intentionality. So that's doing it with purpose. So step 1 to 3 will be quite intense. And then step 4 to 6, you just need to do it with purpose. Okay, let's go into each step in a bit more detail and see if I met them. Step 1, emergency fund of $1,000. Now, if you look at the exchange rate, which Rand is quite poor at the moment, $1 is basically equivalent to around 19.3, 19.2. It's moving around, quite volatile. South African Rand, so that's equivalent to 19,000. So let's just round it up. Let's say it's 20,000 in emergency fund, which I have met this step, and I put it in a savings account, earning around 6 to 8% per annum. I think I agree with this step. I think it's very necessary, especially when emergencies happen. Now, some people may ask, what emergency would actually require 20,000 rands? Now, emergencies are events that's unexpected and often very serious. For example, a car broke down and your repairing costs not covered by insurance, so it has to be out of pocket. Medical bills, expenses not covered by medical aid, and you, again, out of pocket. Home repairs, roof leak, toilet not working, water leak, etc. And job loss. You may feel that your job is very secure, but you never know. It can happen, and you definitely want an emergency fund on the side to help you in that period before you can bounce back. Otherwise, you may resort to a short-term loan, which has a very high interest rate, especially in South Africa. We're talking about 15% and above. And yeah, it just causes a debt spiral, vicious cycle, and then you'll find it very hard to come back to the surface. So step 1, met, which is good. Let's move on to step 2, pay off all your debt except for mortgage. So this can include student loans, vehicle loans, personal loan, overdraft, and a credit card. I believe I have met this step, although I do have some differences, or I just have some comments on the credit card usage. So from Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps, he does not agree with using credit cards, and basically asks people to, after they pay off the credit card, to cut it up and never use the credit card again. And I would say there's a few reasons, but I think the 3 main reasons that comes up quite often are as follows. First reason is because it's not your own money. There may be reckless spending, so you just spend a lot, and yeah, it creates wrong behavior. And then the second one is spending more than you normally do. So if you see that there's a balance over there, you may spend more on your credit card compared to if the same amount was in your debit card. Now that's applicable if you don't have discipline. But if you have discipline, I would say the first two can probably be negated. Third one is minimum rewards. I think they mention sometimes that there's always normally this 2%, 1 to 2% points back, and it's very small. And I would agree that these three points have merit and they make sense to the general public and for people who can't really control spending, which I was probably in that position a few years back. But I would say if you are responsible and you have that amount in your check account, so whenever you swipe an amount, you have that particular amount in your check account to pay that off immediately, then at least it can prevent this reckless spending. Obviously, it takes time to build that responsible behavior. And the second one is if you're disciplined, you keep to a set budget. And what I also mean on that point is, irrespective of you having a credit card or a debit card, your spending is the same. Now that requires a lot of discipline and takes time to build up. And also, even if you qualify for a very high limit, try to go for the limit that just meets your monthly expenses. So for example, if you qualify for a 20,000 Rand credit card limit, go for like a 3,000 limit credit card or lower, if that meets your monthly expenses. And then the third one, minimum rewards, I don't feel that that's applicable. If you know what you're doing with all these rewards programs in South Africa, especially eBucks and Discovery Miles, which I've mentioned on quite a few of my videos, if you do it right and you know what you're doing, you can actually get, I would say probably on the lower side 5%, and on the high end 15% plus of whatever you're spending back in rewards. Yes, some are in points, but some can also be converted to cash. So yeah, that's just my take on credit card. So I do have a credit card and I will continue to use it. I've just, over time, I've trained myself to become more responsible so that I pay my credit card off every month, sometimes even earlier, so that I don't incur any interest on my spending. Okay, so that's just my take. If you feel that you can't control spending and that you don't have the discipline, then yes, don't have a credit card. Use a debit card and pay off all your debts. So step 2, I would say I would kind of meet it with just, I would still keep using a credit card. So perhaps half meeting it. Oh, and then in terms of paying off your debt, there's 2 main methods. Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps prefer using the snowball method, but I'll go over the avalanche method first. Avalanche is you list your debt from the highest interest rate to the lowest interest rate, and then you pay off your debt in that order. So it makes a bit more financial sense, or mathematically, that you would incur less interest cost in the end if you follow that method. Whereas Dave Ramsey's recommendation is the snowball method, where you list debt from the lowest amount to the highest amount, and you pay off debt in that amount. That strategy is more, I would say, suitable for probably the general public, because it helps with your mental state and it builds up momentum. Because once you pay off the lowest amount first, it kicks off the momentum, and you're in that zone to keep on paying off your other debts. So both methods would work. If it were me, I would probably go for the avalanche method if you're disciplined. So normally it could take months to pay off, or years, but as long as you're disciplined, I would say either method would probably work. Third step is to build up 3 to 6 months of monthly expenses. This is really just to make sure that you never go into debt again. So it provides a sort of a buffer or a zone, so that if you ever encounter any emergencies, it makes sure that you won't need to go into debt. And 3 to 6 months is the recommendation. You probably need close to 6 months if you have more dependents. For example, you have kids, or you have to support your parents, etc. So unfortunately, I have not met this step yet. I'm still working on step 3. But I would think I should be able to meet it hopefully by June or by the end of the year. And step 4 is after you built up that 3 to 6 months of fund for monthly expenses. Step 4 is then to contribute 15% of your income into a retirement plan, essentially saving for the future, utilizing the power of compounding. Because there comes a time where you can no longer work and you have to retire. And you mustn't underestimate the power of compounding, and this is very important. So fortunately, I am employed at the moment, and I do have a portion of my income that goes to a retirement plan. I don't think it's 15% at the moment, but I will check and then move it to 15. Next one is saving for a children's college fund, or your child's college fund. As we all know, education cost is expensive, and it's increasing year on year, higher than, I suppose, core CPI. So definitely something that you have to consider if you have a kid, or you plan to have a kid in the future. Well, currently I do not have a child or planning to have one in the near future. So it's not as applicable to me, but maybe I should also start saving. But again, I'm not at this step yet. Raising a child can be quite expensive, and I think the estimated cost of raising a kid from birth to age 18 in the US is around $200,000 to $300,000, whereas the cost of raising a child in South Africa is around 1.5 million to 3 million, which is cheaper compared to US, but it's still a lot. So you got to be prepared. So if I do plan to have a child one day, I would want to at least have a fund with quite a bit of funds ready before I go for that step. Okay, step 6, pay off your house. So not having to worry about your mortgage payments and be complete debt free, which just makes your mind more calm, and you're able to make better and more, I suppose, a more insightful decision with a clearer mind, which is something I'm also working on right at the moment. And then step 7 is you build wealth. Now, once you're debt free, you use your disposable income to start invest, or you give, because what you give out may somehow return to you in the near future. You do good things happen. And then the third one is really just, once you're debt free, you should enjoy the money. Spend with a budget. Don't just start spending a lot after you're debt free. Just set a budget and then just keep to it. So in conclusion, right now I'm stuck on step 3, unfortunately, and I want to complete this by June, if not by the end of the year. And then step 4, step 5, and step 6, I think I will be able to reach it a bit faster once I've done with step 3. So yeah, that's my take on it. See you on the next one.